Cobella here, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be telling you 5 advanced tips to greatly improve your builds in Bloxburg. Now, these aren't going to be just basic tips. This video is for the people who already have a solid house and already have the basics down, but are wondering what they need to do to take their houses to the next level and make them look like all these houses they see on Instagram, YouTube, and Pinterest. If you want to know what to do to make your house more unique and make it stand out better, then keep watching this video. Also, I know it's night, but I'm too lazy to join a different server. I literally don't care. Also, I'm not out here trying to claim that I'm the best builder, because I know I'm not, but I'm just here to share some tips that I've seen other people's build. And so because of that, I'm going to be using other people's builds to show examples, because I don't want to be narcissistic, is that the word? And use my own builds as an example. So photo credits will be there whenever I show an image. My first tip for you guys is to use a lot of furniture and decorations. So here is an example photo from Instagram, credits at the bottom, and as you can see, this photo has a lot of furniture, lots of decorations, and lots of detail, and it's probably one of the main reasons that it may be so pleasing and just looks overall so good. Now, this may not be everyone's style, and it may look cluttered or unrealistic to some people, but if you're looking to improve your builds, then this is the tip that can really help. Now, there are lots of things you can use for extra furniture. You could put extra chairs, extra ottomans. You can also do things like lamps and art easels, and also plants are a very huge thing to use for decorations, and there's so many different types of plants. So if you ever don't know what to use when you're decorating, a good tip is to just put a plant, because it looks good in about every style of build. My next tip for you guys is to use asymmetry in your builds. Now, if you don't know what asymmetry is, it's basically the opposite of symmetry. So having things that are imperfect and uneven and rotated certain ways. Now, this can add a lot of realism to your builds, because think of your house in real life. Generally, not everything is in order, You're not going to perfectly measure out everything when you're placing something on a table or using something. A lot of your stuff in your house is probably rotated and not perfect, and so it adds a lot of realism, which can be really useful if you roleplay a lot and want your house to look more realistic. It also makes it more interesting to look at, If everything is perfectly in line and perfectly straight, then it'll get a little boring, and so having things like in imperfect spots and rotated in certain ways can make it more interesting to look at. Here is another example from Instagram. As you can see, their entire dining room table is rotated to the side, and it just adds a lot to the picture. Also, as you can see, all of the decorations on top of the table are rotated, and there's also lots of furniture like that circular rug and the plants and the chair that are, rotated and mismatched, I guess, and it just makes it so much more interesting. Now, this video is focused on the interior, but all of these tips can be applied to the exterior as well. Just for reference, here's my first house. And obviously, it's pretty bad. Let me know if you want me to do a video in the future where I renovate this. I don't even know what to say, but you don't want your plants looking sad and boring like this. You can't really see them, but they're all kind of neat and aligned in this row, and they're all the same type of plant. You can use the asymmetry tip and cluttering tip to turn it into something that's better. Like this, which as you can see has a wide variety of plants that are colored nicely and not just all evenly placed. Oops, I'm getting a little stinky there. Anyways, my next tip for you guys is to try out new decorations that you've never used before. I will admit, it can be very easy when you're decorating a space to just oh my god, I never did those decals. So what I was saying is there are probably a lot of items in the decorations tab that you've never used before because you just got used to using the same type of decorations. And although it may be hard, it is important to branch out because Bloxburg is such a limited game, and so you need to use all of the opportunities you can get to make your house more unique and have a more variety of different decorations. My fourth tip for you guys is to use items in creative ways and even make your own items with the structural materials. Now with this new structural update, we have all these really cool ropes and beams and lots of different ways to make creative stuff and even just create entirely new items. You can also combine items together to make new items. This tip can be really hard. I have even found it hard myself to be creative, but you just have to look online. You can look up videos on YouTube of build hacks, or you can look on speed builds. But there is another picture from Instagram. There are lots of different examples of this, but this is a really cool one because they actually have this floating bed. They also have drawers under it and a table connected to it, and even like a staircase in the corner with a shelf under it. So it's just very creative, and they've combined items to make it more unique. Here's another really creative picture where this person has actually taken boulders and put them inside the bed, and it looks like pillows on top of the bed. And they also have a lot of cool decorations on the walls in the background, and even trees in the corners of the walls to make it look like decorations on the inside. So it's just a really good example of how you can get really creative in this game with the limited possibilities and use your inspiration, and that's what will really make your builds unique. Okay, my fifth and final tip for you guys is to focus on the small details because they can really pull your build together. If you feel like your build is missing something, you may just need more small details. Maybe it's a colored roof, maybe it's curtains on your window, or more plants in certain places, or you have a place that's kind of empty. Focusing on the small details can really add something that you may feel like you're missing in your build. One way you can do this is by trying to make your spaces feel more realistic by adding items that people who live in your house would use on a daily basis. For example, if someone's in a kitchen, they may need cooking utensils or appliances or soap for the sink or spices and certain things that would actually be used. And so you want to have everything that a person would need in your house, and so that's a small detail you can add to make sure if you're role-playing in that house and they actually have everything that would be used. Another way you can have attention to detail is by having good decals. It may seem unimportant to some people, but good decals can actually do a lot for your build, and the type of decals you use can really change the mood of a space. As you can see, this living room is an example of what not to do when you're doing decals, because I forgot to do 3 of them, and so immediately when you look at this room, your eye draws to those 3 blank spaces because they just don't fit the color scheme and they look out of place. It's a good example of how having bad decals or even default decals can really mess up a space and work against you. Alright guys, that is going to be the end of this video. I hope these tips help you improve your build and add something that you may feel like is missing, and peep the sneak peek of a build I'm working on. It's not this one, but it's the other one I was in, and I will be posting that speed build soon, so stay tuned for that. All of the builds in this video have a speed build or will have a speed build on my channel, so subscribe to see all of those. You can also follow my Instagram because I do regularly post sneak peeks of builds and stuff I'm working on at ColbelloYT. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!